All right, guys, Papa Pepper. I am going to be trying to go live for my first time ever. So I'm going to kind of let a crowd fill up here for a bit. I did not do any kind of promoting of this. So as you show up, if you let me know you're in the chat room, that would be great. And we will see where we go from there. And I think I'm going to hop on my Instagram quick and mention something just in case any of those people want to come over as well. So, you guys know recently I've been through a lot with my first venomous snake bite ever. Kind of exciting, and we will see how it works out. So, I've got a number of questions probably coming about that and some other things that people are going to want to know. Not sure if that's going to work. So, snap a quick photo for the Instagram here, and then I will move forward. If you guys have the ability to chat, please feel free to let me know when you show up. I'm just going to take a quick photo on Instagram for this. Oh, they let me know I'm live. Hello, Patty. Actually, I'm going to be heading to Mississippi for a minute tomorrow for work. So that'll be interesting. Smith Family Farm, Red Shed, Chickielandia. I just saw you commenting on my Not a Scientist video. Said I looked very scientist-like. So let me just do this quick on the Instagram and I'll get back to the chat. Just gonna send that out. All right. Hey, Hot Sauce Junkie Tim. I can't watch your live streams without nibbling on ghost pepper myself. Do you guys, is the sound quality okay? I'm in a hotel room at the minute, so I just wanted to have somebody check. Let me know. Bunny K, Mary Cleveland, Sugar Creek. Good to see you guys. Little Creek, Samson Farms, Tinker's Wife. Very cool. Hey, Squatchy Herper. I'm not too far from you, Squatchy Herper. I'm in Pine Bluff for the night, but taking off in the morning. So want to get out in the swamp or the woods or the fields or something with you sometime and try to catch some stuff. You know what? Okay, my coworker ordered some pizza. So Chickielandia says, can't believe I'm up and about. And the reason she said that is I just got bit by a water moccasin on Wednesday. About that, got bit by a water moccasin on Wednesday. And that is a crazy story. Why don't I answer, or I'll tell you guys the story quick first, and then we'll answer some questioning. Yeah, G. Cosper, yes, I am live for the first time ever. Good, great video and sound. Very cool. Phyllis Johnson, good to see you. So, all this kind of, a lot of my followers, subscribers are going to know my story anyway, but I was working on a video. I had some venomous snakes and some non venomous snakes. I was filming them and working with them, but oh, I keep some in my backpack. I only had barbecue tongs, okay, for picking up venomous snakes. Now, that's a 10-inch spread right across there. Gladys Anderson, good to see you. So that's about 11 inches. So when I grab a venomous snake, if I grab it back too far, it can come up and tag me. And that's what happened is I got my first venomous snake bite ever from a small cottonmouth water moccasin. And immediately kind of processed that, decided to go to the hospital, went to the hospital. My swelling was getting pretty big. Check it out now, guys. I'm getting back to normal, whatever you call normal for me. Began to really swell up, but my pain level, my nausea, my stuff like that was all really good. So they decided to say, you know what, skip the anti-venom and just head back home. If something turns out bad, come on back. And I was like, wow, really? Like, very cool, very cool. Terry asked me what prompted me to do a live. The fact I was at a hotel really early for the night. I got here a bit after 8 because it was Sunday, and the store we were working on was shut down at 8, so we couldn't do anything. Normally, I don't get in even in time to go to a pool. But so I was at a hotel, had the new computer, figured might as well do it. So yeah, the swelling is pretty much gone. If you just saw, and if you haven't, check it out. I did do a video about a water displacement test where I did this one as a control, this one as to see how much more it was, and it was 3/4 of a cup more swollen. So that day, it just hurt a lot. It kept swelling, and it kept swelling, and it kept swelling. The interesting thing is when it hit my bicep, it stopped. It couldn't make it past this python. So, and they asked me to take the water moccasin and bring it into the hospital so it could get some anti-pepper. No, I'm just kidding. I don't think it. I don't think it tagged me too bad. Could have got some more venom in me for sure. And I think I was previously envenomated when I had a copperhead in my hand, and then some venom dripped into an open wound. And I was exposed to it because later I'm like, man, my arm's really sore. What's going on? So I think that's what happened there, and that could have kind of prepped my body for this bite. Not sure, but that night, 12 hours later, I was having some stomach trouble, and I didn't think it was related. Um, kind of where you have to spend a lot of time sitting down in the small room. I'll kind of keep it kind of PC, you know. But and then I did get nauseous that night and vomited 3 times. But I didn't realize that diarrhea and was part of what could happen from a snake bite. So I'm just gonna real quickly just let you guys know a little bit about what can happen with a snake bite and kind of all the symptoms they list, and then compare that to what I actually went through, and you'll see how well I fared. So, with a snake bite, venomous snake bite, I got bit by hundreds or thousands of non snake bites. And Wholesome Roots, Lisa Hall, Pine Nut Family Farm, good to see you guys very much, very much. Um, so, you can have bleeding spots, numbness, tingling, and sweating in other parts of your body. I didn't have any of that. Where the you got bit, you can have bleeding, fang marks, discoloration, burning sensation, and swelling. I had all of that except for the discoloration. So there was definitely fang marks and a little bit of blood, a burning sensation, and obvious swelling. And then I did have sore muscles, you know, a lack of strength. But fever and severe pain, didn't have any of that. Didn't have any dizziness, fainting, increased thirst or headache. Didn't have any blurriness of vision. Didn't have rapid pulse, low blood pressure, or severe shock. Didn't have convulsions or loss of coordination. I did have some weakness, but then I did get some nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea too about 12 hours later. So it did work out pretty well. And the cool thing too is like I knew I had an option of sucking out the venom, and seriously, as soon as that snake released, I mean, I could have and spit it out in the creek, but I decided not to. And afterwards, people were mentioning how that would be a true thing. Like these days, they're recommending that you don't do that anyway. If you have different sores in your mouth or cavities or other things, can be an entry point. So that could have made it a lot worse for me. And the next day just kind of took it easy. If you guys saw my harvest video where the kids were releasing their baby snakes into the garden, I was kind of just carrying it around. I've been keeping it levitated, sleeping on a couch, and throwing it over the backrest of the couch. So I think that's been helping. And then by Friday, I went to work for a little bit and did a small job we had to do in town, and then decided to come out today and do some more stuff. So the swelling is almost completely gone. Like I said, the swelling never made it past here. It's still sore. Like if I go like that and squeeze really hard, it is sore. Virginia Reed, good to see you. Um, and then yeah, I don't think there's going to be much permanent damage from this. I think it was, you know, it wasn't a dry bite, but it may have been humid. You know, it may not have exactly been pumping a whole lot of venom into me. And I mean, it hit and let go. If you guys saw the other bite I had in that video where I was talking about it, I got bit in this thumb right before by Nerodia cypodon, a plain-bellied water snake, and it chewed on that thing. I mean, it was driving a tooth down into this hole. There's a little spot on my thumb there that's worse than the fang bite over here. Farm alarm. Hey, Pat Con Electric. Good to see you guys. Wanda K. Nice. Juanita. Good to see you guys. So wow. Juanita just said she had a friend bit by a copperhead and almost lost her thumb. Reached in the pool filter. And that's one thing too, guys. A lot of people are like, why do you like snakes so much? And I'm like, I like all creatures so much. You know, I catch bunnies too. I catch frogs too. It's just that I seem to encounter a lot of snakes. And then what I find is there's a lot of misinformation about snakes. People say, well, some snakes are dangerous, therefore we should kill them all. Well, guys, some puppies are dangerous, therefore we should kill them all? No. Some people are dangerous, therefore we should kill them all? No. Like, it doesn't really get applied to too much else. So, to me, especially when we only have a couple of kinds of venomous snakes in the United States that even pose threats to people that are indigenous, which is going to be your coral snake, copperheads, cottonmouths, water moccasins, and then rattlesnakes. Those are the only ones we really have to worry about in this country. Therefore, the vast majority of other snakes are very, um, a lot of them are just completely harmless. And then many of them as well are, they may bite you, but it's not going to be something you've got to worry about. Hey, Little Creek Homestead says hit the like button or the snake is going to get it. And we don't want the snake to get it. So 57 people watching. Oh, just lost one. 56, okay, but 18 people viewing. So I appreciate that so much. And yes, okay, the redneck pepper goes, do you think um, charcoal, activated charcoal, would have helped draw out the venom and swelling? And there has been a lot of good suggestions, a lot of good advice that people have been giving me, a lot of things that could definitely help with this. And here's the thing, in my body anyway, I, throughout the week, often am exposed to things like manuka honey, colloidal silver. We make our own raw garlic and raw honey where we mix those two together and let them sit for like 3 months. And then the kids just eat the garlic like it's candy because the good properties of the garlic all infuse the honey, and all the good properties of the honey infuse the garlic, and they turn out like uh, like candy and just really good. And oil of oregano also, and then elderberry stuff, and aronia berry. A lot of that kind of passes through my system during the week anyway. So when I did get bit, I just kind of went to the hospital, checked out. The only thing I did is I put some plantain on it immediately and then went in. They checked me out. I was in the hospital for 3 hours. They said I was doing pretty good. They felt sorry for the snake. No, I'm joking. They said I was doing pretty good, and I was responding to it rather well. There are risk factors with antivenom, so they decided not to do that. The doctor recommended that I not have um, antivenom, and I'm like, hey, I'm fine with that. And antivenom Crofab for the Crotalidae, the North American pit vipers, that's about $20,000 a vial if you're paying the full retail price that a hospital will give it to you at. So if you think about $20,000 a vial, but that's not all. They want to give you 4 vials per round. So the dosage is 4 vials. So we're at $80,000 for 1 round, and then it may not help. It may not start working. So then, of course, they've got to give you another round. So they suggested that I not even have antivenom, and I'm like, the money isn't really an issue to me. I mean, my life's worth more than money, but if you're suggesting that I'm not, I'm like, I'm fine with just going home, checking this thing out. So since that point, as far as special care for this thing, I have done about nothing. And there's a reason that I've done that. I don't know if there's wisdom in it or not. Um, but I want my body on its own to be taking care of whatever it can on its own. So if something worse happens in the future, my body's gonna be a little more prepped from it just from dealing with this on its own. And I don't want something worse to happen, but there's a good chance I'm gonna finish the video I was working on. That involves filming and photographing some venomous snakes and non-venomous ones for comparison. But I did learn one thing is that these are no longer gonna be my tool of trade. These are $1. I got them from the dollar store. They were great. I've handled dozens and dozens of venomous snakes with these very easily, very well. Even I saw a video of me catching the one that bit me, and I just reached down, pick it up, and just his body never even changes position. It's still in a coil, and it just lightly comes up. There's just firm enough grip that it could support its weight. I grabbed it, and that was it. But somebody, I forget who, and I'm not going to mention names in case I say it wrong or you get the wrong person, but said they were going to try to mail me some of the long snake wrappers, which will come in handy. So no, I'm not going to have an amputation, Big Daddy Cool Breeze. Not this time, or you know, hopefully ever. Because that's a risk. Even with the swelling, if the swelling would have been worse and the blood would have been having a hard time making it to my fingertips and stuff, I could have began to lose fingers, my thumb, my entire hand. And I don't consider myself to be out of the woods yet. Not just because I live out in the country and I'm not going to move to the city, so I'm not out of the woods in that way. But I'm not out of the woods yet. This isn't over. This is still sore. There's still some things I'm dealing with. So at this point, yes, please don't die. Unfortunately, Jesus is Lord. I am going to die, just not yet. Not yet. So we'll wait for it as long as we can and enjoy what we can down here and whatever the Lord has planned for me down here. And I definitely have a focus on my marriage, and which is going to be 12 months. No, it's going to be 12 years. That's even better than 12 months. In 1 week, we're going to have our 12-year anniversary. And since I asked my wife to marry me exactly 1 year, or no, asked her to be my girlfriend exactly 1 year before we got married, it'll be 13 years for us together. Nice, wonderful, faithful marriage. Absolutely cool. We've got 6 little peppers from it. And the man that I was when she met me was not a very nice man, very evil, wicked, enslaved to a lot of sins, very drunk and high, and a lot of things constantly, a lot of recreational drug use, but the rec was like WRECK drug use. I was destroying my life and a lot of lives around me. She thought she could make me happy. I was terrified of her because I figured I could go for her, and I preferred not to feel, not to have emotions. And the Lord had other plans. And since then, it's been 11, almost 11 years to the date of just being completely alcohol free. And I gave up everything else too, which I thought I would be drunk and high till the day I died. And yeah, when she said she'd be my girlfriend, I quit smoking cigarettes. Actually, I was finally able to do that on my own. I'd quit many times, but I always failed. And the only thing that ever actually worked for me was when I quit putting them in my mouth and lighting them. As soon as I did that, I finally actually quit once and for all. But I figured if she wanted some time to spend some time with me, I wanted to make sure I had some time to give her back. So absolutely incredible. If you guys have not seen the video about why Papa Pepper is the way Papa Pepper is, some people were talking about how important no how much they liked me and stuff because of some things I had done online on Steam it. And I'm like, look, if you like me, it's not even me you really like. Because I'm a jerk and you guys wouldn't even like me. It's the man that God is making me that you appreciate, and it's Christ living in me and through me that is what you're appreciating, because on my own. Area 51 Farms, Dr. Beth, good to see you. Deb Long, Mathania, very nice. The Apricate Tiny House Homestead, is that how you say it? Since you changed your name, I don't always know how to say that. But yeah, that's kind of a little more backstory about us. Um, yeah. So if anyone has any snake related or other questions, feel free. I will kind of mention, I know somebody came on recently and said, hey, I'm kind of concerned about your children. After the video that I went out um, to the lake at night with my son, and we were just catching some turtles, some non-venomous snakes, and frog and some other things. And to me, the area that we went to, is there a chance we could encounter a venomous snake? Sure, but we've spent a lot of time there and we've never seen one in that area, and I've seen a lot more at home. So to me, like, if I see venomous snakes at home on my property out by the chickens where the kids do their chores unsupervised sometimes, does that mean we need to move somewhere or something like that? Lottie, Faith, the swelling in my hand is doing great. If you look, this was the bad one. So we're doing pretty good. Still a little sore, but everything else is doing really well. Um, so to me, that's why I'm passionate about education. Just talking to Mama Pepper, they caught a black rat snake tonight. They saw it, they let her know. She gave them permission and they captured it to relocate. A black rat snake in the chicken coop tonight. We encounter these. So the kids need to be aware of what they are. They need to understand, which ones are dangerous and which ones are not. They need to understand what to do when they encounter one. And even if we put a snake on the ground and come back an hour later and it didn't go away, they're not allowed to pick up that same snake, even if I was just letting them hold it an hour earlier. I don't care if they know exactly what it is. I don't care if they were just playing with it. They need to once again get mom or I to give them permission. They understand the risks. They understand a lot of things. Wow, really? So Robert and Cindy Moore LLC said, "I appreciate your snake videos. I've stopped killing snakes because of your videos." That is awesome. there's sometimes probably going to be in some places a situation where it's life or death for people or snakes, and but most of the time the snake's just there living its life. I've never met an aggressive snake in my life. I've met a ton that were defensive, and everyone that I got bit by was defensive. I aggressed it. It's doing its thing. I step in out of nowhere. I grab it. I chase it. J Dog's Life, CC Rider. Good to see you guys. And then they bite me. But also, I'm Polish. So, like, if I grab a snake and then it bites me, I'm like, oh, you fool. You're not going anywhere now. I've got a great hold on you. You got a hold on me. You can't get away. So, that's how a Polak catches a snake. Unfortunately, don't do that with venomous snakes because that's just not wise. So, oh, a bunch of king snakes, the redneck pepper. Yes, absolutely. Those are awesome. We've got prairie king snakes in our area, and the speckled king snake, which is an incredible creature. It looks like static on a television, which I don't know about you guys, but that was my favorite show growing up. So it just kind of brings back all those nostalgic memories of being a child when I see that. We Tree Bonsai, you made it. I was trying to get a hold of you a little earlier because I was thinking about going live for my first time ever. If you tell me how to give you a wrench, I'll give you a wrench. I just don't know those things. Because she said if I ever want to go live, she'd moderate for me. And I do have plans of getting that greenhouse up. We'll see when that happens. And getting started on homesteading, you have a lot of rattlesnakes. Actually, I'm kind of jealous. We've had a lot of pygmy rattlers in our area, and I even found one that was a black morph. So a pygmy rattler, small little snake, dangerous, but they're small and they're gray with a little bit of light brown on the back and some black and some beautiful colors. And then I found one that was black on black, so it looked like the shadow of a pygmy rattler. Very cool. And I used these a number of times in sticks to grab them. But once, honestly, this is something you should not do. There was one curled up, and I just chose to reach back and grab it behind the thing, and it was kind of this serene type whatever. It didn't go and do anything, but trying to. Okay, look at that. I think we have now given We Tree Bonsai a wrench. But yeah, it just happened to not do anything or go well. Otherwise, that would have been my first snake bite. I've had some first calls for sure. So, guys, We Tree Bonsai is in the house right now, which means you guys keep it clean or she'll kick you out of here. You guys have been doing really good so far with what I see. I appreciate it. I'm not watching with my children right now, but we may go back through and kind of check you guys out. In J Dog's place, I'm still going to do a video on when a friend of yours gives you a gift like a trampoline, your kids will literally jump for joy. So we got a video coming out, and we'll work on that. But yeah, and guys, if you do want, I know 82 people are watching, we've got 48 thumbs up. Feel free to give it a thumbs up. I know there's algorithms, which I'm not sure how the next president like Al Gore playing some sort of rhythm helps YouTube, but they're kind of, I don't know, in cahoots or behind it all or something. So feel free to give it up, give a thumbs up, and somehow that helps. So definitely appreciate that. And yes, V.Honey, I am really live. So glad you're checking it out. And yeah, you guys, I really do appreciate you being here. I appreciate the channel. If you guys don't know, the only reason I ever started a YouTube channel was to share videos on Steemit. And the only reason I ever came online was that somebody said you could earn money by sharing things online. And I'm like, well, that doesn't make any sense. They talked me into coming into Steemit, which if you don't know what Steemit is, they make their own cryptocurrency on a daily basis. And then based on how people like things, it gets distributed among the community. So for quite a while, I did rather well on there. Really enjoyed it, but I needed somewhere to host my videos. So I just started putting videos on YouTube just to share them on Steemit. And I never really even looked at YouTube. Just focused on Steemit now. I'm still absolutely focused on Steemit. Love the community there. Love people there and stuff like that. But there's other communities out there, like the people that I've met on YouTube. And even some people like Wholesome Roots, I think we first encountered back over on Steemit, where we first met up. But now we've been enjoying stuff on YouTube too. And Wholesome Roots, that box of blessings made it back to me again. It's still traveling around. It just came back from Adventures in Our Garden. So, guys, I have not chosen the next person who's going to get the box of blessings, but they have to go to Adventures in Our Garden, is the YouTube channel. They've got a video about getting the box of blessing. I'm going to scroll through the comment section when I get back home, pick something up, and then pick somebody, and then send the box of blessings back out to somebody else. So it can just kind of come back around and kind of meet more people in the community, give them a big opportunity to enjoy some seeds and stuff. We actually just met some people today who came and picked up two of our puppies, our Anatolian Great Pyrenees mixes. We've got a male thorn and a female rosemary. They had some puppies. We had some people come pick up a couple today, but they don't know me from anywhere, but we got to talking and they were talking about their plans for the future. Took a walk through the garden. They were loving that and stuff too. So I'm just gonna, when they get their next property, just bless them with a whole bunch of things. We Tree, if you know someone for a backup mod, I can definitely click on their names now because I know that type of stuff. Granny B, good to see you. Good to see you. So if anyone wants to moderate and I know you, know of you, okay. Farm alarm, I see that. Let's go do this. Okay. And guys, when it comes to the internet, I am technological roadkill. There's a reason I'm very at home in the swamp, in the woods, stuff like that. I'm a very natural man, like to be unplugged. I actually do long for the day that the grid just goes down. I'll definitely enjoy it while we don't have, you know, um, while we have the internet, I'll enjoy it and I'll use it and I'll be blessed by it. And same thing with electricity and stuff like that. But I really do just enjoy. And it looks like Wholesome Roots is going to bed, but we'll give them a wrench so they've got one if they ever show up again. I appreciate that, Rose, for sure. So yeah, I don't know. I like if I didn't if I didn't have the opportunity, I would adjust to not being online very easy. So definitely. Hey, getting started at Homestead. Just did a little seed swap with Heartland Homesteaders. Yeah, at the old fashioned picnic. I saw that. There were some good people there for sure. Very good, very good. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, that type of stuff. I know you guys are concerned about me. There's a reason I live the lifestyle that I do. A lot of it does have to focus on just a couple of my passions being I love being outdoors. Um, I love interacting with creation and everything that God made. So when I can be out there in the trees and the water and the animals and just interact with it on a personal level, just absolutely appreciate it so much. And then since we eat food on a daily basis, I mean, multiple times a day, what we do is we like to grow food because it makes sense. The less money I have to spend on food, the less money I have to earn, which means the more time I get to just kind of hang out. Hey, single steading. Yes, the snake bite is doing great. Check out those hands. They're almost the same, okay, but they're opposite. But yeah, we're doing pretty good. The pain is still there a little bit. The strength is not fully back, but we've definitely got a lot better than we have been doing. And remember, it's only been a couple days, so pretty interesting because it was just a couple days ago when I got bit. And again, I was talking too about um, just kind of the life that I live. So there's things that I enjoy that other people may not enjoy. And I'll tell you what, I'm more terrified of a muskrat than I am of a non-venomous snake. I don't know how many of you guys have ever been bit by muskrats, but I've been bit multiple times, which means I did not learn my lesson the first time. Okay. And man, terrible, terrible. In fact, the last time I was in the emergency room, that I was just there for a little bit, and they said, you seem to be doing okay, and they sent me out, was when I got bit by a muskrat. Same hand, just different finger. It was the pinky. But yeah, it tore me open. Tore me open. I had one by the tail, and somebody goes, "Hey, can you pet that?" And I'm like, "That is not a good idea." And he was drinking and stuff. I'm like, "No, you don't want to pet this." But then the problem was, I was drinking. And I'm like, well, maybe I'll check. And the second I touched its back, it jumped around, cut that finger pretty much in half to the bone almost. And I just kind of wrapped it up, bandaged up, whatever. And then later, I got talked into going to the emergency room, and I'm like, you know what? It's been too long for stitches. It's a semi-aquatic mammal. I don't think there's much of a risk for rabies. I'm like, I don't think they're going to do anything. But I was wrong because when I went to the hospital, they gave me a bowl of soapy water, straight up, and they had me wash it out. Then they gave me bandages, and they had me bandage it. Oh, wait, that doesn't show. But what they did is they gave me a bill of a couple $100 for it. I'm like, they didn't even do anything. It's like letting somebody come over to your house to, cook themselves dinner and then you charge them for a meal. Like, I don't know, it doesn't. So, kind of similar situation this time. But yeah, there's a lot of a squirrel. Squirrels have terrible bites. I know they're cute and fuzzy or whatever, but I'm more scared of a squirrel than I am of non-venomous snakes. Absolutely. And yeah, possums, raccoons are pretty nasty. I don't know if you guys have ever barehanded a raccoon before, but those are a beast to be reckoned with. My brother used to have a pet one, and it got rather big, and we would wrestle with it. At the time, I had just a big pile of dreads, but they would grab onto it, and I'd pull it up, and we'd wrestle. But that was a tamed one. The wild ones, I wouldn't want to get bit by no raccoons. So there's a lot of cute creatures out there. It's just that yeah, I know a lot about the reptiles, I guess, and definitely can understand them a little easier because they're not capable of as much as some of those evil, wicked mammals out there, like bunnies. Eat some peppers. You know what? If I was at home, Hot Such Junkie Tim, I would absolutely eat some. I would absolutely eat some, but I don't have any. Um, so kind of as I was talking, the reason that we're even doing the garden and stuff. Even the reason we're even raising these animals and is just because we eat food. I definitely love them. I definitely appreciate them. I hear ones that you love, that are edible, taste even better. Um, a sad GMO'd animal living off of antibiotics in a little stall somewhere in a dark whatever to save on electricity. That doesn't sound very delicious. And some people, even they eat a deer or something, they say, "Wow, that tastes so gamey." And I tell them, "Hey, the way to get that gamey taste out of them is very simple. Pathways Homestead, very cool. The first time I was ever on a live stream was Prepsteader Bob, and Pathways Homestead was there. So they came on right after me. And Albany Mountain Homestead, very good to see you guys. Very good. What was I just talking about? I have no idea. Something about food and animals. Oh, the gamey taste. So people often they'll taste a deer, they'll say this thing tastes really gamey, and I say, you know what? The way to get that gamey taste out of them is you pump them full of GMO corn and antibiotics, and if you find dead deer, you grind up the dead deer and you make the deer eat that. And then when you taste it, it tastes just like the hamburgers you can buy at McDonald's or something like that. I mean, it's just that simple. It won't taste gamey at all. It tastes just like the rest of the meat you're eating. But to us, it's just how many goats do we have? At the moment, we have 3. Oh, how are the goats you have? We're probably actually getting out of goats for a moment, um, for the most part. We've got a wether, which we're gonna be eating. We've got an Angora, which we're not really gonna be using for a fiber goat very much. We've got enough wool to deal with, so we're looking forward to, just doing something else. Rebecca Wagner, good to see you. Um, and then we've got a, Kiko Kiko boar mix. She's beautiful. And not sure, maybe we'll get her bred and do something with her. We definitely don't want to make geeps. Sheep and goats can breed, but they don't. They're often sterile, and there's something weird. They don't have the same number of chromosomes, so we definitely want to keep her away from our ram. And so we got 3 goats in the minute, and then I'm not sure what we're going to do with our Shetland fin sheep. Ewes, because we're kind of going to stick with the Jacob sheep for now. But to me, too, like uh, to have an edible grass-powered lawnmower that fertilizes as it goes, that can be your friend. It can be a companion animal too. Absolutely. Just makes more sense than a gas-powered lawnmower and stuff like that. We were even talking to some friends earlier today, and I find it a peculiar thing that in a lot of cities with the ordinances and the different things, the animals you're allowed to have, as long as they do not give you eggs, and they do not give you milk, and they do not give you meat, you can have them. Like, I don't know. You ever see a dog, a yard full of dog poop as opposed to a yard full of sheep poop? Like the dog poop's a lot messier. The dogs are a lot louder than sheep a lot of times, depending on what you got. So there's a reason, and you know what? Right now, single steading. Love all of your videos, the homesteading, the herping, the cooking, the family time. So refreshing, educational, and entertaining. And that's the thing, guys. A lot of times, okay, what's the favorite animal we have now, Little Creek? I'll get to that in a minute. Um, but a lot of times, I'm not going to niche out my life. I'm involved in so many different things. I like trying new things. If you go back into what's it called? Into my history, there's some weird stuff back in there. But whatever I feel like doing, even if you just saw the video, I just put one out, I think it was last night. But I was talking about two turtles that seemed to be on the same program because they kept doing the same thing. I mean, it was a short, less than a minute video. There was no trivia, there was no stuff like that. So I just put it out. But if I feel like doing something, I'm gonna do something. If we're enjoying something in the garden, we're gonna do something. If one of the kids wants to do something, we've done that before, then they're gonna do something. And kind of as we head forward, if I'm jumping in the swamp, and something cool happens, hopefully I catch it on camera. I actually didn't catch the snake bite on camera. I missed that. But hey, Prepstetter Bob, good to see you. It was a nice time meeting up with him. I've seen him in 3 separate states already. We met up for the first time in Missouri, came down to visit us in Arkansas, and then went up into Wisconsin, my own homeland. CC Ryder, how do you get my books? I only have print form so far, and I only have one published at the moment. There's 2 other ones that are just like on that tipping point where they could be finished very simply if I just kind of got some things going. I just kind of seem to get locked into a kind of a habit a lot of times where I'm kind of get programmed to, okay, got to make these YouTube videos. Okay, got to make these Steam posts. Okay, got to do these things. And to break out of that cycle enough to actually finish some of these projects that I have becomes more difficult. But I've got a couple other ones. There is a link to my books in my YouTube description, I think. Otherwise, on the Homesteaders Co-op store, which is in my YouTube descriptions, there's an opportunity to buy books there. So yeah, Homesteaders Co-op. You know what? I can do this, right? I know how to pull up my own Homesteaders Co-op. Actually, I'm not sure. Maybe I should just pull up my YouTube. I'll find a link for you while I'm going here, and then we'll figure that out. But Little Creek Homestead asks, "What is my favorite animal?" I don't remember if the full question is what was my favorite animal, or what is my favorite animal I have right now. My favorite animal of all time, though, as far as just a group of creatures, is going to be turtles. Turtles are my favorite animal. A lot of times people have asked me, why are turtles your favorite animal? And the honest answer is because I like them more than all the other. Yes, it takes the type. That was a free one. Who is that? I don't even know. Is that Ford? Who makes Titans? I don't know. Whoever makes Titans, they just got a free promo there. But anyway, I like turtles more than any other creature. Therefore, they're my favorite. The favorite animal we have right now, as far as kind, would probably be the Jacob sheep. The Jacob sheep are probably cool because, first of all, they've got a very unique look to them. And then also, okay, good. We tree dropping some Etsy shops, PayPal. Here is, this is, yes, the online store, Homesteaders Co-op. We just back to back that. We tree and me. So if you go to the Homesteaders Co-op, the Homesteaders Co-op was set up by some friends from Steam It, and they set up the whole thing, an online interface where people could take Steam and SBD, which are some of the currencies back at Steam It, or PayPal, or whatever, and they could just buy things from people. They let us be a vendor there. So now a cool thing too is that we're taking our garden, and the main part was to drop the food expense and working on that. It's definitely doing that. And some of the things that we grow, like if you look at my top 4 garden plants right now, the Yuruzun Japanese wing bean, the Chinese red noodle bean, the snake gourd, in the competition strain edible gourd, and the Malabar spinach. None of those are kind of native to our area, and none of those are things that I was even eating like 3 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Getting started on homesteading. Have a good night. Thanks for stopping in. And Granny B says she bought some seeds from Papa Pepper and had 100% germination. I'm buffering bad right now, huh? Let me know if it continues buffering. But um, yes, Papa Pepper, that link, you can find my book if you go to that Homesteaders Co-op store that was shown there. You click on that, that should be for our store. One of the items for sale there is my first book, 50 Days to Understanding the End Times More Accurately, which is for sale for $8.99 on there. But you can get an autographed copy for $9.99. And the reason I did that, one, is to keep it under 10 bucks. Two is that way if I can seriously make a dollar just by signing my name, then I can take all those dollars I made from signing my name and I can buy a tree, plant it on my property that I can feed my family, and I can look at that and go like, you know what? I had to sign my name just to give out an autograph in my book, like 30 times to get that tree. And it's just a crazy, interesting, weird thing. Beth E. Durbin, okay, you asked about the hand. I should just kind of keep doing that throughout this thing. It is almost back to normal as far as size wise. The swelling never made it past my biceps. So just kind of flexed and kept the swelling on that side. Um, but yeah, just kind of the crazy part of, the fact that just by writing my name, I could earn those extra dollars. And then people sometimes they like an autograph copy. It makes it more personal, stuff like that. So WeTree just dropped another link to the online store. So guys, a lot of the things that you see us doing and growing, we're dropping the cost of living by growing our own, food. But then the food we're saving. And oh, cool. Single Steading says they planted the Malabar spinach seeds and have little seedlings growing. Now they're going to plant the walking onions. But those Malabar spinach seeds too. If anyone orders anything from our online store at the Homesteaders Co-op or the Etsy shop, um, I throw in a free package of Malabar spinach seeds. They can be difficult to germinate, not always, but we didn't plant them this year. We had 12 or 14 plants on about a 8-foot stretch of fence, about 4 feet high, and we could not keep up with them. Googie's Fairy Farm, good to see you. Yes, the hand is doing well. This is the one. But we couldn't keep up with harvesting 12 to 14 plants last year. And then they went to seed there and they dropped their own seeds, right? So this year we had a couple hundred coming up in that same thing. They're contained, they're in a raised bed. But the most successful crop this year, I will get to that simply, Jan. Good question. But we didn't plant it. So it grew back on its own. It sat there, and there's often a lot of scarification or different what's the stratification that you can do to get a seed to germinate. But those, if they were in the ground before the winter, they got exposed to cold, they got exposed to moisture, they got exposed to all sorts of other things, and then they just kind of came back on their own in force. So I've been pulling out ones. I pulled out some, brought them over to Jeff at Bubblehead Homestead, gave some to my friends last I was in Wisconsin, dropped off some in St. Louis for some other friends, just pulling them. But to me, if you have a nice green that is so easy to grow because I've done nothing, I didn't even plant it this year. And in fact, I'm going to try to harvest the whole thing just to see how much it puts out. And then it forces me to freeze it up for the winter too. Bob Mills, Simple Living, very good to see you. So, but to me, anyone orders anything from the store, they get free. A free package of Malabar spinach, and then everything else, guys, all of our favorite stuff that we're able to grow and repeat, we just kind of offer up when we're able to. Those walking onions, I'm going to get a second harvest off this year too, because they started to grow back again after we ate a bunch and then they died back for the year, but now they're starting to come back again. So that is awesome. And we sold out like right away. And Googie's Fairy Farm, very interested in the passion vine. Yes, we're saving seeds as we speak. I think I've got some beans in my one pocket, some snowcat beans, and some of these guys in my hand. I don't know. Yeah, those are some passion fruit seeds there, but we got a bunch of them. We're going to go redneck pepper. I will stay safe. Thank you for tuning in. And the pepper family is doing great. Ramirez, sorry, doing very good. Hey, Sharon, thank you for stopping in and hitting a thumbs up before bed. So I do have a question I'm coming back to. And that is, I forget. There was something about, my most successful crop this year. I was just going to show you these other beans in my pocket. These are snowcap beans. I don't know if you guys can see them because of the graininess of my computer, but they're a beautiful two-tone kind of purplish beige. and they've got white at the top. So another variety we were trying this year and doing well. And Gossmania Homestead, yes, the hand is doing great and very better. And Cheryl Tate, I am sorry that your mom thought that passion fruit was poisonous. As far as I know, you should be doing, all the varieties I'm aware of are really good. And they are a treat. I call them the fruit snack of the forest. They are so good, especially in the ripe, and you open it up and just so good. So I'm not sure about that. You know what? I'm gonna not copy the full thing. Let me. Somebody said they were getting an error. I'm gonna drop the link again, and then we're gonna talk about my best crop this year. And somebody was asking if we did a video about the winged beans. We did do a video about the winged beans and what they tasted like. I think I leaked it in one of the other ones. G. Cosper, good to see you. Thanks for stopping in. And Farm Alarm, thank you. Thank you. And you got a wrench next time you want to show up. So what do we got? The winged beans tasted like French fries. Yes, with Rebecca Wagner. Thank you for that. They were absolutely amazing. When you cut them in a section, they've got like these four little parts sticking out, and they almost look like a little frog. And then when those parts just kind of start to crisp and get brown, we find that they're perfect if you're just kind of going in and just sauteing them in some butter. They tasted like French fries. They were amazing, and they are coming in hard and heavy. We just sent them to the fair, and Mama Pepper was telling me, they're like, "What is this?" Like they had no idea. So they dropped some off, and looks like the link is working. And guys, I do appreciate that. Part of the thing too, and I'm getting back to my best crop this year, but part of the thing too, even with writing books, is for me to write, it gives me a chance to process the information and also then record it so I can come back and kind of check myself exactly where I was at the time and figure these things out. And then a book, once it exists, normally if you work for, $15 an hour, we'll say $10 an hour. If you work for $10 an hour and you want an extra $10, you have to go work another hour. You have to invest something that you don't have yet, that hours that's coming to you to go get that extra $10. So that's kind of, the status quo. That's kind of what happens. That's how it works with wages. A lot of times with an hourly wage. But if you write a book and you're selling that for $10, say $10 is the profit, same amount we'll say. Um, what we're going to do then is we don't have to rewrite the entire book, right? It exists. If another copy gets sold, well, compare that to the hourly wage. That's another hour you don't have to work now, or another shovelful. Hey, good evening, food forest permaculture, or another, shovelful out of digging yourself out of whatever hole you're in. We try not to go into holes ourselves. When we sold our house back up in Wisconsin in 2015, that was the last debt that we had. If we use a credit card, it is just to, um, we have the cash in hand. We'll use the credit card instead of the cash. We'll go, and then we get some bonus points back. And in fact, we've been playing credit cards for a bit because we have a relatively high credit score. So they'll give you a thing, hey, spend $500 in the first 3 months, we'll give you $150 back or $200 back. I'll say, okay. So I do that, and then I pay it off, and then I get the $150 back, and then I cut the card in half and I never use it again. And then, Capital One will reach out to me, or then Discover, and then whoever next. And we usually keep like one active at a time. So Daybreak Sykes, you say just tuned in, usually miss live chats. This is my first live chat ever. So there's the hand anyway. So does the Malabar spinach vine? Yes, it does. It's a vining. It's not actually a spinach. It's a perennial down in the tropics where it's indigenous, and it can really grow. But it's a very beautiful plant. It's rather striking, a pretty good ornamental. In my zone, it's an annual, but it reseeded itself. But it also just very pest resistant as long as it stays watered. And we didn't really even water it a lot, but it had enough moisture in our raised bed. It produces like crazy and good, or good raw or cooked. So that's very cool. Now, I did get a question a bit ago that I've been meaning to get back to. What was my best garden crop this year? I'll tell you what, my snake bean or my snake gourds, they're done for the year. I got two small ones that I harvested. There's two small ones that are still hanging. And then there's the big one I grew, which I still haven't measured for the competition. That one I'm going to have seeds for soon enough in the store. I'm very excited about that and excited to go through the whole thing. So excited about that, but they're done for the year. They did good. They didn't do as good as last year, and part of that was the start. I mean, there was 2 times when they started growing and setting fruit and getting into blossom end rot because I was growing them in a rock and clay. The place I was putting them was a new raised bed that hadn't even been a raised bed yet. I didn't really add anything to it, so I began amending the soil, heading through some stuff and doing some stuff. Terry, we don't know who run the contest. I don't know anyone's length. There's people still growing. I think Little Creek Homestead said they just found some going. Farmer G's got some going. Other people got some going. Gardening in Gnome Town, the Mess Hall, others. But I haven't gotten a single measurement. But those measurements are going to be in video too. And we're going to get those together and we're going to see how people did. But I absolutely love the fact that it cranks out so much food for our thing. The name of the book is 50 Days to Understanding the End Times More Accurately. And CC Ryder, I can get with you at some other time later if it doesn't work either. So we'll see. Um, there is no cutoff date. I guess maybe December 31st, Terry, as far as the end date for the contest on that. But that's, yeah, we're gonna wait to see how people grow, and there's people still growing. I'm done, but there's people still growing. So there you go, Wheat Tree. Thank you very much. That's the full thing there. So the Chinese red noodle beans did amazing. They're still rocking it hard. We harvested some today, and then there were a few left for when we had some people that we never met before, but they showed up and picked up some puppies. We were giving them a garden tour. They were able to enjoy some fresh noodle beans with their family. Like, oh, these look like the lawn beans that we get, wherever that they normally buy. I said, look, when you guys, get an opportunity to start gardening more, let me know. I said, I'll sponsor you guys with seeds. Is what I told them. I'll hook you up. Noodle beans did excellent. I grew only 20 plants, and I've got a video in process, but it was kind of spread out, so I got to gather all those files because eventually I moved the files off of my computer because it gets too bogged down and put them on an external hard drive, and then I got to dig through things, so it's hard. And yes, Patty Gilbert is talking about my book right now. She said it's a great book, highly recommended. Patty Gilbert, if I remember right, is the daughter of a pastor who is married to the daughter of a missionary. So as far as, talking about theological issues and Bible-based things, they were kind of raised in it and they have a grasp of it. So she says when she was opening my book, she's like, really? Like, and began to look at it, and she had an open Bible there, and I tried to just have a lot of scripture in there just to kind of connect some dots, and then eventually they're like, huh. She said it was very good. So yes, Bob Mel, time for lunch where you're at. Yes, it is, isn't it? We're creeping up on 10 o'clock p.m. here, but thank you for stopping in, Bob, and thank you for those bitter melons. Absolutely loved them. Definitely love when they get past their prime and get those tasty little seeds too, the globules around it. Anyway, back to the noodle beans though. They're still kicking it. They're still rocking hard. And next year I'm growing 100 or 120 plants is my goal. I'm gonna have to set up some things in the winter to get to that point, but they crank out so many, and they're so easy to preserve. For us, I just dice them into very short sections and fill gallon freezer bags, and just dump them out later into the skillet for a stir fry. Dump them out later into a crock pot for a stew, whatever it may be, and they work very good for us. So very easy to take care of. They work very well. They produce so well, and for the most part, everything leaves them alone. My actual pole beans, the green bean pole beans, will get shredded and attacked like crazy by the Japanese beetles, but they pretty much don't touch these. And plus, in the snake gourds and the noodle beans this year, we had prairie lizards, the eastern fence lizards, living up in them, where I could go find them on a frequent basis. So good to see those people out there, those creatures out there protecting our plants. Which brings me to the best crop this year. Squashes did not do as well as I'd hoped this year. Had a lot of issues with them, with squash bugs and other things. But we did get some good ones. Tomatoes always do really well for us. Peppers always do really well for us. The Malabar spinach, absolutely the best plant we did not plant this year by far, and it cranks it a bunch. But the actual best crop, I'm going to have to give to the Yuruzun Japanese wing bean. We got them from Baker Creek originally. I think they're completely sold out. They found one that was not day length sensitive. So they said usually, I think in September, August, I think they said maybe around the beginning of September they start putting out, or sometime in August. That's about whatever they said was the same thing that we found out to be true. Um, and they're still coming in really hard. They are going to crank out so much food for us. I don't know how it freezes yet. I don't know some of the other things, but it's absolutely amazing. And I have only eaten the pod so far. So the root is also edible and the leaves are also edible. I mean, we've got so many greens that are edible that we're not eating on our property, like a lot of lamb's quarter, a lot of the leaves from the sweet potatoes, and then also, the wing beans now. But I got to try it and I got to branch them out. Even the goji berry, the goji berry leaves are edible. We haven't done that yet. Somebody just asked, what do the beans taste like? And do you eat the snake squash? Okay. Uh, happy and harmed. So the beans, the Chinese red noodle beans taste amazing. They're kind of like a nutty um, bean type flavor when they're cooked properly. I mean, when they're cooked, they're really good. But my wife says I'm better at cooking them than she is. So she likes what I cook them, but they got a good crunch to them, a very tasty thing. I'm really bad at describing flavors, I find. So I'm not completely sure, but they pickle well too. And then the winged beans, when you cook them in just butter, you slice them up about half inch, and you drop them and cook them in some butter. I'm getting periodically distracted by some of the comments, so that's fine. You guys keep commenting for sure. I just got to learn how to talk and keep a train of thought while being distracted. But we find they taste just like French fries. And the snake gourds, I would say, taste like, to me, they taste like the little mini corn you get in a stir fry mix. And guys, if any of the links are not working for you at the moment, what I would ask is that you just check out any of my previous videos. For some time now, I provide a lot of links in the description. So check out my video and then just look at them. Head down there. It'll say, check out our new online store, order my first book off of Amazon, or you can go to the Homesteaders Co-op store. It'll say the Etsy shop, things like that, and then you can check that stuff out. And single setting about the winged bean roots. Do you leave the roots in the ground once the plant is done producing, or pull it out entirely? Normally, I'm not sure what specifically you're talking about as far as which plant, but normally I just let the roots in the ground die, unless it's some sort of weed that's going to come back, and just kind of add to the organic matter in my garden. If I'm editing a book, of course, I'm going to pull it up and then go through that. I'll pull it up and then I'll eat it like a carrot or something. But with these winged beans, I'm going to pull them up at some point once they're done and give them a try. So got to check that out. They're definitely wonderful. We'll probably have extra and offer them in our store, just because if we have more than we need, you know, I want to get out there. I want to bless others. I want to be able to put it in other people's hands. And then, like, even with the Malabar spinach, we left the roots in the ground, just added the organic material. But I'm pretty sure, they didn't come back from the root. They weren't perennial here. They reseeded themselves, and I think that's evident based on the number that came back. We had 12 to 14 plants, and we've got more than 10 times that many. So a lot like Jerusalem artichokes, where if you plant one, you're going to get back like 10. If you plant a pound, you'll get back like 10 pounds. And those actually, guys, this year I decided we are going to take our Jerusalem artichokes, and we're going to have some. We're going to keep some in the soil. We're going to eat some, but I'm going to take and figure out a couple of box sizes to mail out to people. And we're going to offer them up. I'm going to figure out whatever it costs to ship them for me and be like, hey, this box costs this much. This other box costs this much. And anyone out there who wants to try sunchokes, wants to try Jerusalem artichokes, can then get their own. And you guys can get them from us if you want. I know that some people, like I like to, when I look out, I see that I have black Tula tomatoes growing from rows at Wholesome Roots. Or when I go out and say, hey, look, my purple sweet potatoes from Essayon's Family Garden, formerly Sapper Gardner, they're doing very good. Or then when I look at other people's too, when I see gardening in Gnometown, and he's like, noodle beans, this is the best beans he's ever had. Okay. I'm not sure how old, Rick is, but he's older than me. He's had a lot of beans. He's got, shard plants that are older than my current garden, in his greenhouse. He's got about like 3-year-old chard plants. My garden's not that old. I started it pretty much last spring down on our land. But he says noodle beans are the best he's ever had, and he loves them. But he got those from me. Like, I sent him a package as a blessing. So when I see other people growing stuff from my garden, or see me growing stuff from other people's gardens, it just kind of it brings it together. And that's why even like you'll hear me mention Baker Creek a lot. In the last video I did about trying the bitter melon, I was like, hey, these are from Bob Mill's gardens, Bob Mill's Simple Living. Now, love that absolutely. But I started off with a whole thing where I'm like, we get a lot of our food from Baker Creek, a lot of the stuff, because to me, anything that can possibly grow in my area from anywhere around the world, I'm willing to give a try. And it really diversifies everything that we do, as far as what we're able to eat. But then also, it just exposes us to so much more stuff. And it's not just, the regular wax colored Roma tomato and the regular green bell pepper and, the regular carrots, and whatever. It's just, there's so many kind of giant um, things to open. And we just absolutely, absolutely love them. So, yeah. And also Baker Creek, I love being so close to them. It's very nice because we can swing up there often, frequently, and check things out. Guys, I'm an hour in. 79 of you are still watching, and 98 people have already given this a thumbs up. I am not sure if I missed any questions right now. And we treat, thanks for the heads up on that. Just kind of, I can continue to go for a bit. But if you guys have more questions or things you want to ask, now would be the time. I'm pretty good at rambling and ranting. Used to be in the jail ministry, and they would give us an hour locked in the cell with these guys, in the room. And a lot of times we could go for 2 or 3. As long as we were doing things, they would just kind of keep letting us go. So I don't mind doing that. Basically, I'm not here with Mama Pepper or something like that. It's just kind of one man show. But yeah. And guys, as I talked about too, just kind of only starting up YouTube as a place to host videos, and now kind of diving deeper into the community here. Absolutely, absolutely love it. Just kind of meeting more of you guys. J Dog's place was just visiting us as he passed through the area. Got to hang out with Bobblehead Homestead. We knew each other on Steam. He kind of disappeared from there. Ran into him back on on YouTube here. And then we went out, months before the whole Self-Reliant Roadshow thing. Monster Truck and I were out helping him build a chicken coop, and I just learned how to make some sausage and things like that. And then just kind of got to hang out and stuff. But it was because of the YouTube community. All right, guys, 80 people watching, 100 likes. Thank you for those 100 likes. Maria Ramirez, what do you advise on someone just starting homesteading? What I advise is that you take a good look at where you are. A lot of times people can always think of all these lofty things about where they would like to be one day. And, once I move out in the country, and once I get 20 acres, and once I have these animals and stuff. What I want to do is just suggest that people start where they're at. Regardless of your living situation, you could be in an apartment complex, you could be in a city, there's things you can grow. There's things that you can maybe even have as beneficial animals and stuff. So to get started, it's just trying to live wisely and intentionally to cut the cost of what you're doing, to free up extra time that you don't have to be kind of heading out there. And the other thing that I definitely, so just grow something, be growing and learning to grow. And one thing I want to do next year is even just take, like, this table I'm on is about a 3x3, but to take a 3x3 table or area, a 3x3 area, 9 square feet, and have a specific area in my garden that's just that. And I want to, plant it in such a way and manage it in such a way and do such things that then I can show people throughout the year, and then a kind of a big video at the end of the year. This is what you can grow, in 9 square feet if you're trying to head through, and, I'm going to have a large trellis on the one side, a big fence heading up the one, and some other things going on, but just showing that in a small area, people can do things, that are very beneficial and very cost effective. The other thing is definitely, I can't tell you how much this means to me, because my heart breaks when I see people do this. If a lot of people don't work out very well, in marriages and stuff like that. Getting started on homesteading, have a good night. Um, a lot of people don't work out in relationships and marriages and stuff like that. One of the biggest stresses that people have is financial, is money. The problem is that these days in America, the majority of people do not own their houses, they do not own their educations, they do not own their vehicles, they don't own their, whatever it is, they don't own it. They become so indebted. And thank you, Patty Gilbert. Appreciate the compliment, and very good to see you. Thanks for stopping in for sure, and for the compliment on the book too. So they don't own anything. They're very negative, in where they're at financially. So people kind of head through, and they get themselves deeper and deeper and deeper into debt, to the point that they're spending a lot of their time in their life just trying to pay interest to somebody else. Personally, I have no interest in that. I want to be free. And it's interesting too, just heading back at scripture, God says, here's some blessings, here's some curses. He says, debt bondage, paying usury, paying interest is a curse. He says the borrower is slave to the lender. He says Christ has bought you at a price. Don't be anyone's slave. Owe no one anything but love. These things are there. It says it all the way, through the story. Doesn't change on that. But since it's what society does, and since everyone's like, "Hey, go to college," well, I did a video once said, "Don't go to college." Well, why would I say don't go to college? Well, because everyone else is saying go to college. If you're only exposed to one idea, you never even think about it, right? So if you're exposed to something different, you don't need to run and hide to your safe place. You can just have a thought. You can just compare what you already believe, because it's the only thing you've ever been told, and compare it to a different idea and see why somebody would do that, and kind of head through. So I would definitely advise anyone in life at all, or getting started on homesteading, there's a lot of things out there that are going to look very appetizing, that are going to look very enticing, but don't bite off more than you can chew. Don't sign up for more than you're comfortable with. To me, I don't want any yoke of bondage on me. Honestly, if I could get away from using money at all, I would be very blessed. Okay. Unfortunately, I have to have some. So therefore I've got to try to use it wisely. But not paying interest is a very wise one. As I said earlier about using credit cards, if I get to the point that I pay any interest or any fees, that credit card's cut up and it's done, and I'm done with it. That's not what I have it for. I have it as a convenience thing. I mean, even our U.S. dollar is, debased. It's not backed by anything. God says unequal weights and measures are abomination unto him. If they're not backed by anything, it's not good. We got away from the dollar, got away from some other things. Hey, Dustin Wells, I was talking to him earlier. Gave him a call because he was always wondering about my hand. He called me the other day, texted me, says, "How's your hand?" I said, "Well, it's just chilling there at the end of my wrist." And he says, "Exactly the type of answer I'd expect from you." But he thought it was kind of cool that it stopped once it reached my bicep. That swelling came up until where I was swelling on my own, and it just kind of started receding. So it worked out really well for me, guys. Definitely praise God and praise everyone out there. Just thank you, everyone out there, for praying for me. I know there was hundreds of people at a minimum just lifting me up in prayer. I put myself in a situation. I was unwise in a situation, and I suffered some of the consequences. There could have been a lot more consequences from that snake bite. Praise God there wasn't. And even a lot of people say, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" I'm like, a lot of prayer and nothing. It's just simply praying and nothing. So, see, even Albany Mountain Homestead, I've made so many financial mistakes because I wasn't taught what I do teach my children. Um, I got to speak once at a family conference up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and I forget what I titled it. Maybe it was biblical fatherhood or something like that. Maybe it was biblical fatherhood. But the whole thing was pretty much me sharing my failures as a father. It was, hey, you know what? This is how I started doing things, and that was wrong. And this is what I was doing. But then I saw what God said. I changed my mind about what I was doing. And I stood up there and just declared my failures to everyone so they could learn from my mistakes. Albany Mountain Homestead says they've made many financial mistakes because they weren't taught, but now they teach their children. Guess what? Because of the failure, because of the mistakes, because of the things that did not go well, they have a lot of wisdom when it comes to financial stuff because they failed. A lot of people always want to listen to the successful people, so everyone goes clean shaven. They get an executive style haircut. They get a nice plastic smile and a three-piece suit, and all of a sudden, hey, I'm going to teach you guys my simple plans to everything, and just pay me money, and it'll work for you. Um, that's not the way to live. I once met a one-eyed truck driver. I was at the time I was working on a job. The job was mowing a property up in St. Louis, Missouri. A truck driver stopped me, and I'm not sure even what he was all truck driving because I don't know if you can really, like distance haul trucks and stuff like that with only one eye. But he came over, he lifted up his thing, and he only had one eye. And he says, "Let me tell you something about weed whacking." He says, "When you weed whack, when you're running a weed eater, some people call them weed eaters, but I'm such a forager that I am the weed eater. I'll grab all those different things and eat them up, some sawbriar and some common yellow wood sorrel and lamb's quarters and whatever it may be, and eat that up." So I use weed whackers. But he says, when you're weed whacking, he says, you make sure you have decent eye protection. He goes, not some cheap sunglasses, not some cheap safety glasses. He says, you get decent ones. He says, this eye is never coming back because a piece of weed whacker twine shot through my glasses into my eye. Now, that guy did not succeed in doing a good job weed whacking. Sure, the job might have got done, but it cost him a lot. He'll never get that eye back. But because he's honest about his mistakes, because he's willing to say things that are, true based on his failure, he's got a lot of wisdom he can bring to the table. And I'll tell you what, I would rather listen to him because I can see where he's coming from than a lot of other people who may have all sorts of great ideas about things. And CC Ryder's been joking with me a lot about this snake. Yes, many people have, but I do appreciate you praying for me too. Um, Mimsy's Garden, thank you much. I see your phone's going to go. And appreciate you popping in. Oh, yeah, Wrench Dustin Wells, huh? I don't even see a comment from that guy. Hey, Benjamin Turner, you made it in here too. So, guys, I'm going to grab a, whatchamacallit. I'm going to grab a drink of water and come back, and we'll see what happens after that. So, guys, on my end, and Dustin, I think I gave you a wrench because WeTree wants help. So, it may be okay by you, but if WeTree says she wants you having a wrench too, then you're going to get a wrench because I'm going to listen to WeTree so she doesn't kick me out of my chat or something like that. I think, guys, I am going to shut this down, though. We've been going on for about 72 minutes. Yes, J-Dog's Place. Sawbriar does taste really, really, really good. The hand is doing absolutely well. You guys have been a blessing. I thank you so much for praying for me. And if you didn't see the water displacement test, check it out. I thought it was a good idea just to kind of measure, look at some actual data, give me a chance to bring back out my lab coat for a bit and check it out. I got an early day tomorrow. Probably going to wind up in another state by the end of it. And whoever just said, yeah, Wildcat Hollow Farm, Ozarks of Missouri, thank you very much. Mary Gordon, we love and appreciate you guys too. Lisa Hall, you have a good night as well. So we got pizza delivered here a little bit ago. I'm going to eat some late dinner, and then I got to be up and at work and taking care of stuff and rehabilitating my hand and all sorts of things in less than 8 hours anyway. Mac is looking. Thank you for checking out, stopping in, tuning in. Appreciate you guys for sure. So, yeah, and BB from Spain, thank you. If you're over in Spain, wow. If you're not, I'm glad you're from Spain and still stopped in. You guys all be blessed. I appreciate you, like I said. Thank you for the moderators. Thank you guys for showing up. I know this was unplanned. I didn't kind of throw anything out ahead of time, but I know a lot of people were wondering about my hand, about the snake bite and everything else. And Ben's channel 2004, very good to see you. Yes, absolutely. The snake bite is doing amazing and doing good. South Texas, Maria Ramirez, we got a lot of family down on the border. My wife was born in Eagle Pass, and they got a lot of family down in the valley between McAllen and Brownsville. So we head down there like every year, usually. Head all the way out to South Padre, get a little bit fishing in, other things, stuff like that. So nice, South Texas, very cool. And with that, thumb's doing good. Back at work. Learned a lesson. You'll still see snake videos from me. I still want to go find another pygmy rattler and encounter a full-size rattler sometime, and some other things just to check them out in person. I don't like the digital much. I would really much rather just kind of be hanging out in a circle with you guys, maybe around a campfire, maybe somebody's big living room, and just chatting. That way it could be two-way, because I haven't heard you guys say anything. You've been typing, so I'm less digital. I like to check it out in person. So if I can see these creatures, hang out with these things and stuff like that, it's the way I like it. But definitely appreciate you guys. There are links, like I said, to the book, to the Etsy shop, to the Homesteaders Co-op store, and we are saving stuff like crazy right now from our garden. We're going to offer a lot more stuff, and just try to continue to grow. And a lot of our stuff too, we germination tested everything and made sure that it reached a certain thing. If I couldn't get 75% germination rate, I wasn't selling it. And if I wasn't getting, if I got a 75% uh, germination rate, then I had to, up the quantity. I'll put 20. You're going to buy 20 seeds, but I'm going to give you 40, type thing. That way I'm meeting the bare minimum and then going above and beyond, because that's definitely how we like to live and what we like to do. But love you guys. Be blessed. Appreciate it for sure. Yeah, hit the thumbs up before y'all leave or before I leave. We Tree, thanks once again for those links. Those links are kind of always in my thing. And then I appreciate this live chat too, because it's a way to kind of stay real life with you guys. I've got stuff from before I went to Wisconsin last time that I still have videos I want to put out. It just gets kind of hard to go. So yes, Squatchy Herper, I would love to find some rattlesnakes together with you, or just hang out and even check out some common stuff for us that maybe the other person might appreciate, or just to find something cool together. I definitely love looking at, every turtle, every snake, every lizard, every, creature out there. So you guys be blessed. Papa out. I'm going to hit that button. Love you guys. Have a good night.